Well, good morning, and we have continuing with our series. Today's talk is entitled Individual Expressions of an Infinite Creator. And that's all I have to say. Have a good day. Well, I have a couple things. Give a minister a mic for a few minutes and get your pad out. Not the one you write with, the one you sleep with. Okay, well, some of these ideas are from Dr. Jim Lockhart, who put this together for us, but I'm going to deviate a little from what they put together, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Dr. Ernest Holmes and what he came up with. I mean, think about Dr. Holmes got through high school, but he didn't take any college. He's written plenty of books, I think over 20. But from what I understand, when he was down at the headquarters, it was called the Institute of Religious Science at the time, down in downtown Los Angeles on 6th Street and Burando, someone asked him, "So what do you guys believe? What do you believe?" And he went into his office for about 20 minutes and he came up with this document. And it has been modified now to What We Believe is the title of the document. This is previous to What We Believe. This is called What I Believe by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And we officially know this as our Declaration of Principles. I believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-expression, self-knowingness of God. I believe in the incarnation of Spirit in man, and that all men are incarnations of the one Spirit. I believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within myself, and that I experience this kingdom to the degree that I become conscious of it. I believe the ultimate goal of life is to be complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I believe in the unity of all life, that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. I believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of man, and that any man or woman or person may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. I believe that the universal Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that I am surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of my thought and acts upon it. I believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. I believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of all, of life to all. I believe in my own soul, my own spirit, and my own destiny, for I understand that the life of man is God. Ernest Holmes. Isn't that nice? I actually took this down from the men's restroom. We have that hanging. It was my only copy, so I'll return that gentleman later. So, and my tissues. Oh, So later, that was probably in the 1950s that was written. Well, a few of our prominent ministers got together. Dr. Michael Beckwith. You ever heard of Dr. Michael Beckwith? Has a little church down in Agape, little church, a couple thousand people down in Culver City. With Dr. Kathy Hearn, who is from the Encinitas area. She was our spiritual leader for several years. When I worked at the home office, she was my boss. Dr. Roger Teal has a small gathering of 5,000 every Sunday in Colorado. Got together and put themselves in a room. I think there was one other minister, but I'm not sure who it was, but they put themselves in a room and they read that document and they wanted to update it and make it something that we could live today, something that we could have. It's like this is the continuation. They kind of came up with the Global Heart vision, creating a world that works for everyone. And if you haven't been on our website lately, you should check it out because we have posted our talks, my talks, on video. You can watch them on video. And also this Global Heart Vision, one of our webmaster people, has put it up in a way that it flashes at the bottom of the screen for you and spells out this Global Heart Vision, which I thought was incredible. And I'm very happy that those people put that together for us. Let's hear it for Kara. Not to embarrass you, but to give credit where credit is due, because she does some awesome work for us. So this is what is called our Global Heart Vision, creating a world that works for everyone. We see a world in which borders are irrelevant. We see a world which has renewed its emphasis on beauty, nature, and love through the resurgence of creativity, art, and aesthetics. We see a world in which fellowship with life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. We envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. The spiritual community of Centers for Spiritual Living is seen as a bridge across the illness and illusion of separation, thereby dramatically empowering the vision of the global heart. It is united and accentuated by this compelling vision of a healthy world, a world experience of global heart, and is ardently committed to bringing this vision forth through its ministries and its transformative teaching. Centers for Spiritual Living is envisioned as a global community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family, thereby bringing the gift of active compassion and kindness to the world. The local ministries and communities become points of inspiration and influence, effectively advancing the vision of the global heart to benefit all expressions of life. Whereas in this information age, the global brain has become an operative reality, we envision the emergence of the global heart to balance and guide the further evolution of humanity as stewards of our planet and all its inhabitants. We see a world free of homelessness, violence, war, hunger, separation, and disenfranchisement. We see a world in which there is a generous sharing and continuing sharing of heart and resources. We envision a world in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustice, or debts, is the norm. And so it is. So we've come a long way from what we believe to what we are doing in the world. It's one thing to believe something, but it's something else to take action and change your world because of what you believe. And it's not for everybody. It is something that you need to consider before you take action. But once you take action, it feels so good to be of service. There's nothing greater than the feeling of serving someone and not getting recognition for the service that you do. Doing something that you know is going to prosper someone else, and then you disappear, not even to be noticed or given accolades for your charity. It's a great feeling knowing that, it's like being that secret Santa Claus and just having that feeling of furthering consciousness. Well, in the Science of Mind, we learn that persistent constructive thought is the greatest power known and the most effective. It is the visible effect in our lives and is not what it should be. If we are unhappy, sick, poverty-stricken, we know the remedy. The truth is always the remedy. And the truth is that the law of liberty is the only real law. When we reverse the process of thought, the effect will be reversed. And that's from our textbook, page 483. Man walks back and forth, enslaved by the shadows of the walls he has erected between himself and reality. Imagine that here we are gathered around the fire, and instead of facing the fire, we're facing backward and looking at our shadow and seeing that as reality. And we're fearful of our shadow. But once we turn and face the light, the shadow is gone. The illusion dissipates with the light of reality. And that's what this whole teaching is about. And each one of us, being an individualized expression of that same power that created everything that is imbued with that same power. So if you were to take a drop of ocean water out of the ocean and examine it, you'd say this is a drop of ocean water. It has the same elements of the ocean. And some would say, well, that's just a drop of the ocean water, but it is still part of the ocean. But I would say that it is still the ocean. It may be separated from the ocean, but it is still the ocean with all the power that the ocean has. Just as if we are individuals coming out of God, but we are still part of God. We can never not be part of God. The only difference is the way we think, how we carry ourselves. And this isn't to say, well, I am God. It's to say, everyone is God. Everyone is individualizations of that same power. And we can activate in our creative lives that power to be, do, and have what we choose. The energy of spirit cannot be exhausted. We live in a physical universe where nothing is ever lost. The energy that makes up the universe is a constant, and it never runs out. Have you ever felt like you were out of energy? Drained, like completely, like ran a marathon, you were like ready to pass out, wake me when it's over. Well, our energy is always fully available to us. If you've ever felt exhausted and then a good friend calls you and invites you to do something that you really want to do, recall the surge of energy that came over you in that moment. And you were like, absolutely, I want to go play in the band, we're getting the band back together. Who wouldn't want to go and be a part of that, right? Especially when you are a part of something that is bigger, that is synergistic. And we're all part of something that is synergistic. And what that means is the parts individually are less than the parts together can form and make an energy together. The parts individually, like parts of a motor, if we took a motor apart and put them out there, are just parts. But when we put them together, we can drive from here to Monterey and back, hopefully. Well, I'd like to get stuck there. It'd be a nice place. But you see where I'm getting is if I laid out all the parts to baking a cake, the salt, baking soda, flour, and you tasted them individually, you'd say, well, that's not a cake. But you put them together with the right combination, cooked in the right way, and you have a cake. So you see the parts together make something that they couldn't individually make on their own. And when we come together, we make cakes in life. We make magic happen because of our interconnectedness. When we collaborate, when we put music together, when we work on documents together, something bigger than the individual emerges. And this is when we've tapped into that power that creates worlds. We activate it by agreeing to agree and to disagree. And to say, you know what? I may not like what you do, but I love who you are. Or I may not agree with you on what football team is your favorite, but if I'm to have my favorite, I have to let you have yours. And we can have our favorite teams individually, but they play collectively together. And this is how we all get along. This is how we all live life together. So in conclusion, the idea that we are limited in our expression of spirit is an old idea that does not stand the rigor of true examination. We are called from within and without to a greater expression of life, and there is nothing in spirit that can say no to that reality. So let us say yes to the divine creative impulse within us today and every day. And so it is. Thank you.